One. All right. Yes. We have to go us podcast. I got a special guest. My nephew, he's going to want to interview me for sports management worldwide. So he's getting into the sports business. I'm certified as sports management worldwide. So it's interesting how he got into it as well. So he's going to interview me today as a part of his project to complete his curriculum for his academics. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation because this is the first person that's interviewing me on my own show. So let's do it. Let's introduce yourself. Kenneth, talk to him. Let him know who you are and what your dreams are. Kenneth Berrus, right?
Yes. Good evening, Ivan, Coach. My name is Kenneth Berrus. Just a young kid from Brooklyn, New York City. Um, Fell in love with basketball since I could even was introduced to basketball. Um, and I'm trying to, help the children with their basketball endeavors and dreams and aspirations. You know,
Yeah, so that's to
that's
me,
and
that's the
you know
positive thing, man. They get the
that's really what's going
opportunity
on right
to
now at the current moment.
yeah, I mean, you get certified as sports management worldwide. Have many ways to connect players and coaches together on many levels. It's a good program. I actually certified in it as well. So now you have a bunch of questions you have to ask me in order to complete your curriculum. I'm up for the challenge. So what would be your first question to me?
All right, so my first question is, um, how did you get started in basketball? Like your basketball career, and your introduction to basketball. And
Me
pardon,
personally, I
pardon.
started off playing the game myself. Playing basketball, a lot of basketball up in Harlem is where I'm from, Harlem, USA. Um, playing in the Rucker to West Fourth, playing to all of the tournaments in my neighborhood, all the way up to Dykeman. I played in Dykeman at a super young age before it was even a tournament, right? Played in Dykeman when it was just a park, right? Um, Played in the Bronx, man. It's not only borough I would say I didn't play in that much was Queens and Brooklyn. But when I did go to Queens, man, we turned it out. Me and my nephew Jack, we got real busy. I might have played in Brooklyn a few times with some friends and turned it out there as well. So anybody that's from New York City, they know that New York City at that time, especially in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, playing outside, playing in the park was where it was at. So my love for the game started off by just a part of my survival, as well as a part of
Right,
my growth and development and learn how to build with people. I met some of the
right.
greatest people in the world. Plus, on top of that, I believe I've met players that was better than Michael Jordan, which might be a bold statement, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Right.
Some of the guys that couldn't pass the SAT, some of the guys that was caught up in lifestyle, but they had enough game. At that time, I realized now you have to have more than just your game to make it. A lot of us thought it
Right.
would just be a game, but once you understand the industry, as you get into it, this is a relationship industry. And you got to know the right people.
Right. Right. That's absolutely right.
So what's
Um,
the second question?
I appreciate that answer, man. That was a great answer. Um, what is your current role in basketball right now?
Right now, I'm like a player development program, right? I have my own player development growth program. I'm the president of
Mhm.
operation for the Gulf South Unlimited program. We actually place kids. We're the reason we become the connection between players and college coaches. As you can see, the landscape of basketball right now is a very difficult to figure out on your own, right? You could be a talented player and you might not get recognized. You might be at a high school that see you as an ancillary guy that you should only come off the bench for 4 years. So what we have to do at Gulf South Unlimited, we give you the opportunity to be the individual that you are, and that way there's no politics, no this, no that, no teammates, none of these things that's getting in the way of your talent. And to be honest with you, it's amazing how some guys come and play at a camp like mine, and we find them a
Right.
scholarship in college in 48 hours. So let's look at that.
Wow.
You played for a high school for 4 years. Some guys even went to a prep school, which was 5 years of high school,
Right.
and you come play in a camp like mine one weekend. Within 48 hours, we get you recognized, right? because we have a link that's sent out to the coaches. So if you think about how many high school coaches that are out there, how many high school players, let's say give or take, it's about 2 million high school players. About 5,000 get a scholarship every year. So you're talking about 1.995 will not get a scholarship. So we the guys that create the atmosphere to connect players with coaches and coaches with players that's not being recognized. So we have a very tough job. It's some heavy lifting, but it's so rewarding to even save a kid. Say I got a kid a situation right now. I'll give you an example. The school is $65,000 a year. The school said they play 45 if you're willing to come up with 20. So imagine saving a kid almost close to $200,000 in education, right? Now they may have to come up with 10,000. Some kids are getting full rides because of their talent. There's some kids that can play, and the coach might be done with scholarships and only have partials. So we're the guys that find that niche between that and the players. So we're the connection between the coach and the players, the ones that's not making a connection. Because some coaches don't have the money today. Some do, some don't. And they want to make the investment in players that's worth it. So that's what I tell a lot of kids. You play, when these colleges pick you, they're invested in you. Now they want to return on their investment. So that's what the Gulf South Unlimited program. I have a training program which teach you and prepare you for those scholarships once you do get ready. So a lot of kids came out of my program. We can't even count it at this point. We've done it so many times as far as connect kids with coaches and create this, I would say, a package and some scholarships. Some guys got to come up with some financial aid, FAFSA, all of these things. So that's what my program is about. Gulf South Unlimited. It's our 3rd annual camp, and we're probably going to have at least 5 to 6 guys that came to our camp in April. So that's what I do for a living, connect. And I go overseas. Right now, I'm working out a deal right now in Australia to go back over to connect players from Australia to America. And I've also been in contact with some schools, some programs in Canada. So, and I just got an offer today to move to Austin, Texas, if I'm willing to come out there and do some coaching, training, so on and so forth. Hope that wasn't too much for an answer.
Nah, that was great, man. And I want to congratulate you on everything, coming up where we came up from. I really proud of you, and I want to tell you, keep doing your thing and peace and blessings, and that's real big. My next question is, what does a typical day look like for you in your current role that you're in right now?
Typical day like this for me is because I also have to prepare video for coaches. I think I lose a lot of my time throughout the day to I interview a lot of my players, so coaches know them from a character standpoint. So I do a lot of interviews. That's what the Go Us podcast is about. It's about just, Go Us means, connecting, having that successful moment. You know what I'm saying? It's the we and us that make the best in us. So it's that teamwork, mentality, dream work, teamwork mentality. So my daily routine would be connecting to coaches. I'm on the phone with coaches all the time. The coaches say, Coach Ivan, I need a point guard. I need a 6'4" point guard. I need a fast point guard. I need a smart point guard. I need a big. I need a wing. So you get coaches calling me all the time. So we got to get the kids able to interview. We got to get kids to send in their transcripts. So many different things. So for me, my daily operations is connecting kids with coaches and following through what I promised to send them, and then getting the kids prepared for those situations. So it's just the same. It's the same cycle. Getting kids prepared for coaches, and then coaches reaching out to me and finding out, if I have a stud or a diamond in the rough that nobody knows about. Right. So I got a kid right now. I'm trying to get him in the D2 in Allen University out in I think it's in South Carolina. I think it is. And so we're trying to work on those things. So I'm working 2 deals. I'm trying to get 2 players out of school right now, and they're both junior college transfers. So my daily operation is talking to coaches, talking to players, creating the microcosm of them meeting with each other, and then we repeat that, and then get in the gym and see if we could get guys to understand and build a basketball IQ. So, because at some point, the smart man wins. Everybody could jump, everybody could shoot, everybody could dribble, everybody could run. Now, can you be one of the smartest players on the floor? That's the hard part. And are you willing
Right.
to give 100%? I believe, my opinion. If you love it
Right.
enough, you'll figure it out. If you don't
Right.
love it enough, you will make an excuse. So it's just that love. At some point, it's gonna come down to how much you really love it and how much you believe in yourself. And nobody can
Right.
help you with that but you. You got to put enough work
Right.
in for that love to come out of you, and be willing to do whatever it takes. And if any point you don't love it enough, the excuse it's gonna come in your mind some kind of way.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to have an
Right.
unbelievable amount of love for success. You got to have an unbelievable amount of belief
Absolutely.
that you can get it done. Because if
Absolutely.
not, it's so many things that's gonna come. Oh, I got a girlfriend. I got my degree.
Mhm.
I don't want to be on the bench. Whatever those things. That's why you gotta be
Right.
clear. This is what you really want. Trust me.
Right.
We're gonna find out if you love it.
Right. 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 Right.
I give you
I
an
agree.
example. I got a kid a scholarship in the weekend in Wyoming. Know what he said?
Wow. What?
I don't want to go that far.
Wow.
So I said to him, so what you gonna do about that? I said, do you have another choice? You have another option? He said no.
Mhm. Mm.
He didn't even go on a visit. So now the distance was good enough for him to turn down
Okay.
a scholarship. So now think about it. Mathematically, he don't know what he just did.
Right.
You don't know. Mathematically, he don't know what he just did. Right? So what am I saying? All right, junior college, most junior colleges anywhere between 10 to 15,000. He
Right.
basically said, I'd rather get in debt than go somewhere and get $30,000 of paid education.
Right.
I don't know if he will regret it in the past unless he found another opportunity, but he can't say the Gulf South Unlimited didn't do what it's supposed to do. Think
Right.
about it.
Right.
You paid to be in a camp, you paid $150, and I got you $30,000. So in
Right.
business, that's a lopsided deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you turned it down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now you starting to understand when the people say the kids today don't want it. It's situations like that.
Right.
And I'm not mad at them, but it's a little upsetting, right? Wouldn't you say?
Right. 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 Right.
Coach say, man, I like the kid, the 6'4" kid, blah, blah, blah. Yo, coach, I'll take him, I'll sign him. And then the kid says, it's too far. So he walked away from $20,000 or $30,000 of paid education. I guess he don't know what paying debt means. So think about it.
Yeah, that's
You rather owe somebody $30,000 and you say you love basketball. I had an interview
right.
with him. I got his interview talking about how much he loved the game and how much he'll do whatever it takes. He said all of that in the interview. I got you $30,000, no less than 20, and the school is too far.
And he could have always found another niche, another position or anything in the sport of basketball. And so, is he still playing basketball?
I think we can find him another situation, but when you turn down 20,000, think about it. You spend $100, $150 to come to a camp. I should have charged everybody more, and I got you $25,000.
Right.
Scott, all you had to do is show up.
Yeah.
Now when people starting to understand showing up is more than half the battle, he didn't even want to go see it. Matter of fact, he didn't even call me and tell me he didn't want to go. I had to call him and find out, hey, when you talk with the coach, what's going on? We ain't heard nothing from you. Oh, coach, it's a little too far. So daily operations, things like that. So, I'm thinking like, I pulled up a miracle and you turned it down.
Right.
You had nothing. That's what the Gulf South. Think about it. 4 years you were at your high school. You not had nothing. And you turned down. So
opportunity, a lot. You turned down a lot. I mean,
and that's what I like the
peace
kids
and
from
blessings to him. Peace and blessings to him, man.
Yeah, peace and blessings to him because he's a real smart academic kid. Look, I also had him a situation. I'll tell you another thing. You tell me how you feel about this one. So I'll even talk with the Loyola coach, which is right here locally, right here.
Okay.
Right? Because he's from Ponchatoula, which is about, I don't know, an hour or something away from New Orleans. Okay. He looked on their curriculum and said, they don't have my major, so I wouldn't go there either. So now this kid is
Wow.
I guess he's going to find his own way.
Right. Right.
And you
Right.
can't get
Right.
mad at that.
Exactly.
I have one guy. Think about it. I have one guy, all of the kids that I helped that actually walked on at Notre Dame. And if you go to my
Wow.
podcast and look it up, this kid is named Elijah. I forgot Elijah's last name. He's gonna come back to me. And he walked on at Notre Dame and played 4 years, played there, transferred to another school, and he got it done. Dang, that's one out of
That's
I
great.
don't know.
That's great. That's
You know,
great.
so,
That's great, man.
yeah,
That's
so
great.
that's my daily operation. Trying to make sure
Yeah, that's
guys
great.
connect players and coaches.
Yeah, that's great, man. Um, that kind of
I mean,
that's
Elijah
kind of
Morgan. Elijah Morgan.
okay. Okay. That kind of goes into my next question. What's the most challenging part of your role?
I view challenges a lot of times as no challenge, no change, right? So I think those are all learning opportunities, to be honest with you. Because sometimes you got to be like a Swiss Army knife, but it is a
Right.
challenge. This is my biggest challenge, I think. Trying to get the parents to see what I see that they
Okay.
don't see, which is almost an
Okay.
impossibility to a certain degree because most people can't process the information the way I do to see what I
Right.
see. Do that make sense?
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So some parents, like, I give you an example. It was a 6'5" 8th grader trained with me.
Okay.
And this is a hell of a story. I even hate that this has to be a story. Okay.
Right.
I was so disappointed, and that would be the challenge that you talk about. Because me knowing that a lot of this is relationship oriented.
Right.
It was a 6'5" kid. Tell my 6'5" 8th grader and big, Charles Barkley size kid. So he's about 6'6"
Okay.
now. So he grew about another 2 inches height. So he's a legit 6'6". And guess how much he weighs? He
How
came
much?
in high school. Think about it, 8th grader, 6'5", 245 pounds.
Ooh.
Look, he was big as Cam Jordan that played with the Saints, right? I could pull you up on a
Okay.
picture and show you the kid right now. He's the same size as Cam Jordan, and he was that size. And
Right.
and Mickey Loomis, which I have a great relationship, which is the president of the Saints.
Okay.
And at one point, he was also the president of the Pelicans, right?
Okay.
So now, I'm training the big fella, getting him to go up and down the court. Mickey Loomis was bringing his son to my workout because his son trains with me. So he said, "Man, who's that big young fella?" I said, "This is Chase Chesser." And he was like, "Oh, man." He came to himself. I didn't connect him. He told the young guy, "Man, if man, you work with Ivan?" He said, "Man, what school you go to?" And then he said, I'm not sure what high school I'm gonna go to." So Mickey says to him, "If you come to Country Day, I'll take care of you."
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm like, "Yo, that's the president of the Saints." And
Right.
Saints is like, so check what Mickey says. Mickey says, "I'm gonna make you an offensive lineman." I'm at this point like, "Yo, make them whatever you can make them, as long as you're a professional when it's all said and done." Because the kid didn't
Right.
really play football. He just looked like a
Right.
natural football player. And you will hit the
Right.
other part of the story and you're gonna see what happened. So now I'm talking about this guy's like man strong. This guy's a
Right.
1-on-1. So I'm excited. I go to his mother and I tell her, "Yo, man, Mickey Loomis came up to us today, and he said that he'll help your son, and if he because he know he'd trust him under my wing, like if he's gonna be
Right.
with Ivan, he comes to this school." So I said, "Okay." I said to her, "I'm excited. I'm excited to see him when she picks him up." I said, "Man, I got
Right.
some good news for you." I said, "Mickey Loomis said, man, he said he'll help train your son and get him together for football as well as basketball and help him all the way through." So I'm excited. Just what she says. If
Well,
Mickey gonna help him, he'll help him at Brother Martin High School where he's going. So I'm like, huh?
Right.
Never thought that would be the answer. So she
Right.
said, check out what she says. I don't want my son to go to the school because he's going to have it easy. I'm like, excuse me?
What she
What do you
mean
mean?
by that? Pardon me.
So this is what I believe. She thinks, I guess, I really don't really know what it means. I'm speculating at this point. You feel me?
Right.
Like,
Right.
she want him to have some type of resistance. And I'm telling her, how can he have any resistance when y'all already lived a lifestyle? He lives in a beautiful home. So I think people want their kid to have, like, a lot of people don't understand. Growing up rough, it's not a great thing.
Right.
Right? It's a survival thing.
Right. Right.
And confidence is something you have to earn.
Right.
Everybody that's at their best and at the top, they earn their confidence, right? Kobe Bryant didn't go through what a lot of hood people go through. But him loving it enough made him go through what he had to do to earn the confidence of what he's going through. So, long story short, that's a challenge. The kid went to the wrong school, and guess what? They never played him in basketball. He wound up getting a football scholarship. So now think about how crazy this is. If you was going to end up with a football scholarship, you should have went with Mickey Loomis, which is the president of the Saints. You know what she had the nerve to say at the end? And this is the challenge piece. When parents don't even have an idea, they don't have an understanding, and they definitely don't have an understanding. And a person at my level, I overstand these things.
Right.
She don't have, she ain't none of the standings. She don't have no, and she said, I don't like basketball because I don't like how they jump all over my son. You know, they got to double team him because he's too big.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, what you think they're going to do in football? That's more of a physical sport. You understand? So that's a big challenge to meet the parents that have no idea how to really, and it's not their fault. Trust me.
Right.
They don't know who to trust.
Right.
But
exactly.
They don't know who to trust. But what I'm saying is, that's why I realized a long time I had to make my own statement. I had to make my own philosophy about this thing. I said, I can't make sense. I have to make history that makes sense. Right?
Right.
So every time I win a state championship, every time we get kids in scholarship, now she look at me and say, yeah, you knew what you was doing. Like, now he's going to play football and his love is basketball. And the sad part about that is football is a sport like boxing. If you don't got the heart, they're coming to get it. They're going to take whatever heart you got.
Right.
And when it comes to lifting, you got to be ready to play through injuries and things like that. And I think he's more of a Charles Barkley. He'd have been more of a dominant force in basketball than in football because everybody's big in football already. You dig? Okay. And bigger than him. You know what I mean? You ain't going to have 300-pound basketball players running at you that run a 4.5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those be challenges. You know, I had another parent stop training with me because she said, oh, you don't teach my son to step back. I said, well, before you step back, you got to be able to shoot. Why would you work on your step back jump shot? And she had the nerve to say, you don't teach him the footwork. I said, the footwork? What do you know about footwork? Footwork is paramount in sports, right?
Right.
I said, you allow somebody to tell you something that sounds good, and you repeated it back to me, and you don't even know what they mean, right?
Right.
So what I mean by that is, so she decided to train with somebody else in case of Sarah. The kid never got better. Now think about it.
Right.
This is one of my other challenges, and we can move on, is I build your son or your player up to the point where he's attractive to everybody. Then somebody want to take him from there. You understand?
Right.
And then they want to help him. But what happens, they don't know, is it takes years to build a complete player to the point where he's ready for college. Right? So if I get you, think about it. This is the kid. Yeah, matter of fact, this kid that I'm speaking of, the parent that I'm speaking of, another mother that runs the show but don't know it, never played us. I asked her, I said, have you ever made a team before? You almost speak to me as if you know how to play. I said, have you ever played the game? Do you know anything about basketball? Well, my brother played. I said, all right, cool. Your brother had a
Right.
girlfriend, right? Right? All
Right.
right. So do you know what it's like to
Right.
be a boyfriend, or you know what it's like to be a girlfriend? You feel me? So when you talking about your brother play, what do that have
I'm
to do with you?
crying.
You
I'm
watched your
crying,
brother
Theo.
play. That's like me watching somebody
Coach
play the
Allen.
drums, and that means I know something about the music industry. I watch somebody sing, so now I know
Right.
they know. So my point is, those are the challenges that I face. Um, Running into parents, which is not their fault, when you're giving them sound advice and you have no history of doing anybody dirty,
Right.
because
Right.
everybody
Right.
gonna do the research. You feel me? Now, no, go to
Right.
him. He's styling, blah, blah, blah. And you let somebody come, I would say, because I believe kids need to train with other trainers, but it's just like
Uh-huh.
boxing. Everybody have impediments. Everybody have things that you was going to work on. So imagine somebody
Right.
teaching you to step back and you still don't know how to read the floor. What are you going to do with that?
Right.
You're working on a step back, and now this kid is still turning the ball over because he never learned how to play the game with his head up.
Right.
Take
Right.
stages to get to what you need to do. So
Right.
that's the big challenge. The parents, and outside forces that comes in and don't really have those kids' best interests in mind,
Right.
and they get tricked, and then they come back later on to tell me that they should have stayed with me. That's a challenge, but for me, because you care about the kid 100%, you know.
Right.
So that would be a challenge for me. The things that come with the industry, those things you can't control.
Absolutely. I understand. I understand. Oh, that was great. Can we keep going?
Sure.
All right. Um, my next question is, what moments stand out as most rewarding?
The degrees. Every time I send somebody send me a picture of them getting a degree. When you got a kid a scholarship and he gonna come out of college, almost no debt or very little debt. The degrees. Why? Because the basketball is gonna stop one day, then you can do what I'm doing, and you could come back and help us do what we're doing, and we're building a program like that. So to me, the most rewarding part is to see a kid go from uncertainty to certainty to completing the mission. Yeah, the mission. Once the mission is done, now you know what you're capable of. Like every time my school,
Right.
we went over 6 state championships. It's not the championship trophy. It's the fact that you know what you're capable of doing. You know you can
Right.
start something and get it done. You could doubt yourself and get it done. You could believe in yourself and get it done. You could be a person that's big headed and still realize, man, I could be a mission oriented person. That's the key, because we
Right.
deal with all personality types. Can you get to the point
Right.
and you get the missions done, your high school diploma and your college degree, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. I had a kid that had an opportunity to go to Loyola University. Once they got his transcript, right? Once he got his transcript, that made him, because he felt one class, he fell short of what? Having his degree. So now he got to go to summer school, right? So now just thinking about it. So you just because you failed that class, that let the people from Loyola know. If you failed, because every class has a number to it. If you failed that class, you ain't gonna be able to survive here. And you know what the coach
Right.
said? In just quick fashion, we're going in another direction.
Right.
So now we got a kid right now that's one class away from having his degree because of XYZ. So now you see how important it is. So that's the rewarding part. Now, if he graduates this summer, so just think about it. He lost over $200,000 because he failed one class. Mathematically, think about that. They was gonna fund you the next 2 years at the schools of 65,000 times 2. You feel me? So now
Right.
you looking at what 100 and
Third.
130. You blew, right?
Right.
Because you fell one class. So imagine
Right.
you don't take school as serious enough that you lost $100 and something thousand. Because when they look at your transcript, they're like, he fell that class. He ain't gonna be able to survive
Right.
at this level because this is even more of an academic school. So if you fell in junior college classes, players, and you want to go to D1, you want to go to NAIA, that's almost a sign to say you ain't gonna be able to survive academically. So you would be a waste of time. So now he might have. Now he's in search of another school from failing that one class and sending a message to that coach. I don't want to waste my time with a guy that may fail his classes. So the rewarding part is going from one extreme and getting it done. That's the rewarding part.
I like that. That was definitely informative. That was great. That was great information. I got like 2 more questions.
Easy.
All right, no problem. What advice would you give someone who wants to work in basketball as a coach, player, any type of role in basketball? The business side, any type of
I think right now, analytics is a big part of basketball right now. And the industry needs so many different people to keep the industry going.
Right.
Videographers, some of these guys that go from studying the game on film to becoming coaches. So I just think that there's so many roles that you can play. I mean, and roles that you can do, or rather, and opportunities that you can be a part of, especially from sports management worldwide. I was proud that I took it because I realized how many different jobs they really have. Like, you know how you really don't know? There's so many you think you know, but you don't know. Like DMX said, you think you know, but I don't think you know. Like, in so many words, there's so many different roles that the sports industry offer that you'll be like, wow, right? So if you want to start out, do what you're doing, invest $1,000 in yourself or something of that nature, 1,200, just to understand what's out there. Like, you're going to realize what's out there. Now you can attach your name. You can apply to so many different jobs because sports management worldwide have, I forgot the name. I think it's Hoop something. And they post all the jobs that are available all the time from all of these colleges and all these universities. And my other advice to you is if you're really flexible and willing to move and go into other places and move into other states, then you'll create more opportunity for you. And here's the last part to that question. Whatever you think you can be an expert in, please go do the study. Why? Every industry has its own jargon. And that jargon continues to what? Grow every day. So at some point, you're going to have to be able to talk the language of those opportunities. And that's how, so even like yourself, decide what part of this industry you want to do and then become a student of that industry, right? I watch coaches all the time. I'm a trainer. I coach in like tournaments and camps and all of that things, but my passion is player development. So I watch from so many trainers. I learn from so many trainers, but I still to this day, I'm almost half an hour to an hour every day learning something more, or even if it's a refresher course or something I forgot, I'm always spending, if you're a coach, spend at least a half an hour. It's 24 hours in a day. Spend at least a half an hour watching some kind of video because there's absolutely no excuse today because we're in the information age. Before you have to go to the library and get a book. Y'all got videos to everything, anything. So you should spend at least a half an hour every single day. I mean, half an hour plus in studying the language. How can I know this? Can I be effective? What can I do to the industry? How can I be a plus? Half an hour a day, every day studying what you don't know so that when you get in these environments, because eventually you're going to go to some of these coaches' seminars and these things, and you're going to have to be able to understand what they're talking about, right? Even at my camp, I give out all kind of languages, just the NBA language, pen downs, dribble handoff, all of those things, just to give guys, because at some point you got to come in the room and know what they're talking about. Or if not, you're going to fall behind. Or if you come to the next guy and say, yo, what do they mean by that? That same guy could tell those guys, this guy don't know nothing. He didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
be committed to spending at least a half an hour every day and getting smarter and learning
Right.
and develop and develop your brain and develop as much as you can at understanding the industry. That would be my question to that. My answer to that.
Okay. That was great. That was a great answer. And very informative. Very informative. My next question, my last question. What's next for Coach Ivan and everything that you got going on in your position in basketball?
I think my next stage in this will be a little more international connection. Supposed to go out to Australia again to create some connections between that and a program called the Sydney Wolves. Then I got another connection I'm gonna make in Canada, and we got some people trying to get me to come to the Philippines. So right now, I think
Cool.
the next stage to what I do is connecting with more international players. We take players over to the DR, get them situations.
Nice.
Just try to create options for kids that's not going to the pros, right?
Okay.
And create options for kids that want to come to America and play and live out their dreams. So take the Golf Style Unlimited program and connect in more in an international way. Like sports management worldwide, right? It's worldwide because it's global aspects of things, right? So create the global aspect of it all. Sports management worldwide, they talk a lot about going global. And as you can see, every year, NBA, NFL teams are going overseas and to expand the game. And my love for basketball, I would say my next stage would be building more relationships internationally, which is a lot of work already.
That's great. That's great. That's a great answer. That's all the questions, that's all the questions I got for you. I
I appreciate it,
appreciate
man. I
you,
hope
Coach.
I
I
hope this can
appreciate
be
you, Coach
beneficial
Ivan.
to you're completing your curriculum and getting that
Absolutely.
your certificate, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Coach Ivan, man, peace and blessings,
Peace and blessings,
on
man.
everything you got going on.
Yeah.
And,
Thank God. Thank God
everything
to do
you got
something you
going.
love.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we always end by saying, go you, go me, go us.
For us.
Great job on the Go Us podcast, man. I appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
Absolutely. I appreciate you
And we're
again.
gonna
Love you
talk
too,
more,
man.
man. Especially off camera.
All right.
All right, one love. I'm gonna close out, man. Be safe, be
All right.
well. One.
All right.